Well, hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome back here to Maconi Entertainment, and welcome back to Fast Fridays here for the month of August with the ARCA cars at Stafford. My name is Ron Mullins. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Ewan O'Leary. Howie Burrows is our producer for tonight's broadcast. Well, Ewan, we are here at a track that not a lot of people really know about. It's not one that's popular on iRacing. It's not really one that you see a whole lot of in real life, but I have a feeling that this race is going to be, as much as it is a venture off into the unknown for many of these racers, I still think we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun here tonight.
We absolutely are. Really looking forward to it. Good to be alongside you, Ron. Yeah, just 50 miles tonight, 100 laps around Stafford Motor Speedway, which, as you say, has never hosted one of NASCAR's top 3 series, for example. Gives you the idea of the kind of circuit we're going at here. But I really enjoy these short tracks, I've got to say. Thoroughly enjoy them on the NASCAR Big League schedule, as it were. We're going to enjoy it here tonight as well in the ARCA series. Very, very flat circuit, as you can see already with these early onboard shots. Just 7 degrees of banking through here, through turns 1 and 2, and just 8.5 degrees of banking through 3 and 4. Not quite Indianapolis, but it is pretty flat, this circuit, and so it's going to be a lot of fun for us tonight. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to this race as part of another fantastic event here for Fast Fridays on Maconi Entertainment. Getting a new batch of scheduled events as we wrap this one off and head off to the next event. Don't believe I've heard anything about what the plan will be for the month of September, but once that news comes out, you can of course stay tuned to the Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Entertainment socials to find out more on how you can be a part of these events. And a reminder to those who haven't tuned into this series before, these drivers looking to fight for a $150 paycheck and a 3.3 foot, as I like to say it, or a 1 meter tall trophy. And you can see the races that we've had up to this point throughout the summer here on Maconi Entertainment. The other new Gen 4 cars at Michigan, that was the race for the month of June. Last month we had the trucks at Dover, and I remember that being a rather intriguing race. And of course here ARCA at Stafford, it's going to be another fantastic race, and looking to see who's going to be able to get the job done here at this rather historic track as well. Looking at some of the history of Stafford, this track has been open for a very, very long time. It was, I'm looking through. They even have former names listed out for this place when the track first broke ground back in 1868.
Yes, that's. I wasn't alive then. I don't know about you, but that was quite a while ago.
I did not know you're not 160 something years old.
Yeah. I think it's so old, not a single person on the earth at that time is alive anymore. I think that's true, but in fact I know that's true. It was 150 years ago, but yeah, no, I love these sort of historic American ovals. They do look a little bit sort of, especially in iRacing, a little bit sort of run down and a bit second-hand, but I really enjoy this, especially a short track like this. So much history behind it, and even if it is sort of the lower leagues, as it were, as far as racing goes, it's a great place to come, and there's a lot of history behind this place. So yeah, it's a good place to come racing, even if it's not hosted one of those big main events ever in its history.
Yeah, it is still a part of, a rather integral part as well of New England racing. The other Truexes and many others, including the Bodine brothers, made their career here, including Doug Coby, who's one of the track standout stars in the modified scene, actually won the first ever SRX race here back in June of 2021. But let's take a look at the starting grid for this race that lies ahead. It's going to be Dean Brummett starting this race from the pole position. Michael Curran set to join him on the front row. Looking right behind them on road number 2, it's going to be Vinny Tickner alongside Adam Reese in the number 2 machine, that very nice looking Sunoco car. Jeff Maconi, the boss man, going to line up this race in P5 alongside Tyler Curley in 6th. It'll be Braden Morey starting this race in 7th alongside Alex Thomas in P8, and then rounding out our top 10 for tonight's starting grid will be Brian Sablensky alongside Carter Levy.
11th place will be row 6, of course, for Waylon Robinson and Aaron Hardin sharing row 6. Row 7, Petter Smetana and Joshua Osborne will be on row 7. Blake Dorney and Ron Holyfield. That's row 8, 15th, 16th place. 17th goes to Logan Wilson in 76, followed by Daniel Selway Jr. in car 92. Nicholas Ervig and Mike Wombold round out the top 20.
And then looking through the last few, we've got Kirk Mills, one of our Maconi Entertainment colleagues, starting this race in 21st. I'm not sure if he's actually going to be here tonight. There's another Maconi Entertainment colleague, Jeremy Briggs, alongside Aaron Leffel, who running at that row. And then running out our field, we've got Matthew Tennant there in P26. So that's going to be your starters for this race that lies ahead. It's going to be a fun one. And here in the and ARCA starter as well, Mr. Jeff Maconi, that this track has actually played host to some ARCA races over the years. I believe ARCA still runs here, although my knowledge may be getting fact-checked there. But waiting to get this race underway, Ewan. That pace car still out there for at least one more lap, though we can send out these starters for what's going to be a race where these racers really have to stay on their toes on the low banks.
Yeah, it absolutely will. I mean, surviving is just going to be so much of the game here, as it is on any sort of short track, especially on cars I find as well, that people are not quite as used to as they might be with the next gens or the Xfinity cars or something like that in iRacing. These guys haven't, or nobody really runs the ARCA cars quite as much, so tonight is going to be a little bit about survival.
Yeah, that it certainly will. Just be there at the end of this race, and you could come out of it smelling like a rose as a green flag's at. The drivers are on their way, and we're racing here at Stafford. Pretty even keel start with both of our front row sitters, Kern and Brummett. Lead them off, heading down into turns number 1 and 2. Brummett clear them as they head their way onto the back straightaway, but this bull ring of a track hasn't produced any drama yet, keyword being yet.
Well, absolutely. We get through the first lap at least with no trouble as they lead them onto the second lap. Dean Brummett leading the race ahead of Michael Kern at the front of the field. Oh, someone up in the fence up there. Carter Levy is one of those drivers dropping down the field.
Yeah, Carter Levy not getting off to a good start at all. You can see that car driving around like a hoopty-rod as he heads his way down the backstretch off in a 3 and 4. What happened? I think he may have gotten the old bootscoon boogie as he headed his way off into turn number 1, but Dean Brummett still leading over Michael Kerr, and these two trying to break away as a side-by-side fighting still going on between Adam Reese and Vinny Tigner. The battle for third going to be intense. The battle right behind Coleman Curley and Maconi still going on right behind as well. These racers need to stay with it though, because if they start to battle too hard, we're going to see those front two really break away.
Oh, 15 car just getting shut out there, Alex Thomas, and so down the inside. Alex Thomas coming down the inside. Tyler Curley's the one on the outside who just got shoved out wide a little bit there. Still side by side for third. It's extraordinary between Reese and Tigner at the moment. They're letting the front two get away, but this has been going on since the very start of the race, and we're starting lap 5 now. Still no chance of a winner really from that battle for third.
Yeah, that battle for third still going to be intense with these racers. The 12 and the 2 have been duking it out for quite some time. Around this track, that high side, as much as they can keep some momentum rolling, not going to be a lot as we ride on board there, trying to get the 2-for-1 deal from Jeff Maconi. He cuts down to the inside for 1 and 2 and books his way through into third potentially. Now it's a battle with the 2 in the 86.
Yeah, so Reese's still side by side. He's not been able to shake off the driver on the inside of him, whether that's been Maconi or Tigner. But now it looks like Jeff Maconi has got a bit clear. Now can he finally pull in front? Yes, he can. And it'll leave those two maybe to fight for fourth place now. But what a move that was from Jeff there. Just pulling 3 wide, saying, you know, I'm the boss here, get behind me. And he's up into third place.
Yeah, nice to see Maconi running up there in third. I'm definitely not just saying that because we have a deal here at Maconi Entertainment. Every single time that we mention Jeff, he gives me one freshly baked sweet potato. Dean Brummett still leads over Michael Kern. The gap actually growing between those front two. Now about 3/4 of a second between the 8 and the 24. Maconi looking to try and reel in that gap. And all that drama and the smoke and the chaos going on in that battle for third, you can see how quickly it allowed those front two to break away. And it's not even down to the fact that they have nitrous in their cars or anything like that. At least nothing was called in tech inspection. It was just those drivers battling so hard. Oh, that's not going to work. Sideways, slideways from the 2.
Oh, we've got 29 down in the grass as well on the front stretch with Stay Green, because it didn't spin all the way around in car 29, just about get away with it. But the field's starting to get a bit restless now. Oh, look, 10 crosses and a big slide of the crash. Crash for car 31 and in the, oh dearie me, we've got a caution through turns 3 and 4. It was car 31 that started it all, maybe even on its own actually, just getting away from him and slamming into the outside wall.
Yeah, the 46, not very happy about that at all. Let's take a look at the replay to see exactly what went wrong. It was a lot of drama and chaos as they had their way off through there. The 31 overcorrecting big time, the 50 piling in suit, the 7 spun the 29, and all of that drama. I'm not sure. It looked like instead of a Walmart on Black Friday. That was a lot of different things going on at the same time. For sure, I witnessed a couple of murders and crimes for sure. That's a 31 trying to sweep around the outside of the 85. Small little bit of contact, overcorrects it, bang into the outside wall he goes. And the 59, really nothing he could have done. The 46 just T-boning into the side. And clearly those two were not happy with each other at all. As we actually take a look at the moment that went on earlier on in this race for the number 20 of Carter Levy. He had a pretty big impact into the outside wall through 1 and 2. We noted it at the time and saw that car driving around like the wheels were bolted on sideways, and clearly not much else he could do there.
This was at the very, very start of the race, and not assistance into turn 3. Here we go out of 4 though. It's where it's going to happen. Where is it? Oh, there's a bit of a scrape on the outside wall first of all. And there we go, there in front. He just has to swerve to avoid the 7, which just got caught up in front. The 7's Braden Murray, by the way, just had to avoid that and put himself straight in the wall.
Well, take a look at the moment involving the number 12, the P12 run, I should say, the number 29 of Patterson Montana. Let's take a look at this as a contact went on right in front. Nothing he could have done. Mix of running into the back of the 15, the 7 running into the back of him. Quick little loop-de-loo into the infield grass. Thankfully, though, in the world of iRacing, you won't run into the same problems that they usually do in real life. One quick trip off into the grass, and your splitter gets turned into sheet metal linguine. But we were able to get away with one there, albeit a quick yellow gun come out with a decent amount of laps already on the board. That was a decently medium-sized green flag run to kick this race off.
Was not bad for a first run. Just over 10 laps, just over 10% of the race distance already. You know, and that's only knocked off in what, 3 minutes? Well, not 3 minutes, sorry, 5 minutes. So yeah, but very quick pace at the front. Dean Brummett certainly showing that he has the good takeoff pace in the opening 10 laps of a run, but of course a number of different scenarios are different this time round with lap 15, already 15 laps done. A bit close to the end of the race. Let's see how this first restart goes.
Yeah, here for the first restart of this race. It was a quick first 10 laps. Let's see how it goes on the first restarts. We're back to racing. Grumman immediately jumps up to the high side. Think he may have gone away with one there. He switched lanes after he crossed that start-finish line, so I don't think we'll see a black flag there. Curran and Maconi, they're going to battle for P2. Open to not see a repeat of what we saw in the first stage of this race, where those two were really starting to pull away. Maconi trying to give him hell. Is down the inside. He's going to go off into 1 and 2. Curran stuck on that high side. As I said not terribly long ago, the low banks around this track really going to make that inside line the preferred line, and Curran certainly proving that as he slips behind in third.
It's more single file at the front this time. That much is very clear here as the top, almost 10 actually, of this field gets single file early on. It's back in the pack where the battling is. That's Joshua Osborne too high through 1 and 2. That's what happens when you get out of the groove a little bit. You really want to be down the bottom there. You certainly don't want to be up against the wall.
Yeah, that you certainly do not want to be. I gotta say one thing as well about this track. So many different kinds of walls around here. You got Armco, you got concrete, you got the 3 feet of hope, as I like to call it, the small little bit of safer barrier on the outside, turn number 1. An odd amalgamation of many things around this racetrack, but we've got a good one here right now. Brummett still leading over Maconi, over Curran, Vinny Tigner, and V. Alex Thomas ran to add your top 5 as it stands right now. So we take a look at a battle. That's a 28 of Smetana. That's a battle as it stands right now for P8 with Adam Reese, your at 1 point P2 runner, trying to get involved in all that as well. Look at the 7, always aggressive as Maury.
Yeah, that's this is a problem early on in a run like this. If you just get out the groove a little bit, you could get a freight train down your inside. Oh, that was close again. I think Maury thought for a moment that he might have been clear from Aaron Harding, but he certainly wasn't. 28 still on the outside there. As further up, there's more looks to the inside from Tyler Curley, looking to regain some of those places again. And speaking of getting cleared, 7 car is now clear of Braden Murray into 9th.
Yeah, so as much as up at the front, these racers are deciding to take it easy. A little bit farther behind it is absolute pandemonium. We jump now to this battle briefly with Jeremy Briggs, and I believe that was Nicholas Uhrig that were battling for P14 as it stood at the present moment. But we still look through at the front. rather smooth, rather calm, clean, and collected at this point of the race, but I jinxed it. It's a yellow for Briggs.
Yeah, that's 48 in the wall. The driver on the lead. Sorry, second last. Oh, no, he is the last driver on the lead lap. Spoke too soon. Here he is out of 2. With, a bit of contact already. Out of 2. Oh, no, and you can see the crash course there, can't you? 48 eventually losing it on the way to 3. Carfall's team was pretty out of shape as well. That was Nicholas Uhrig who was battling with him there.
I love the fact that I said, hey, these drivers were keeping it clean on this restart, and then literally, I think a half a second later, the yellow came out. And of course, it's for Maconi Entertainment, Jeremy Briggs. I may have to apologize to him before we get up and rolling for the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series show coming up tonight here on Maconi Entertainment. That will be the action from Portland, as I think I see some drivers making that call to come down pit lane. Interesting stuff, some split strategies coming. I wouldn't even say early at this point. That's someone off into the grass. That'll probably be a black flag for an unsafe pit entry. I was going to say early off into this race, we're already a quarter of the way through it here, Ewan.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to start thinking about these things. I mean, we've seen a lot of drivers come in there. Only the top 8 stay out, along with Matthew Tennant and Carter Levy as well, who stay out, but they're already laps down. Tennant will get the run round the outside the field, and he'll go back onto the lead lap again. And he'll restart down towards the back end of the field here. But yeah, that's a lot of drivers. Look at that. Look at the last pit stop laps there. Lots of drivers in. Logan Wilson, the best placed of those who pitted in, although he didn't come in under this caution. He's up to 5th, so might be worth just keeping an eye on him on this restart. How much of an advantage is it going to be, those 13, 12 lap fresher tyres? I don't suspect much, to be honest, but we'll see. We'll have to find out on this next restart again.
And hearing from the production truck that Logan Wilson may have only took 2 tires on that pit stop, but frankly, it doesn't matter how many tires he took. He's got flames on his car, so that is already helping him out in this race. We'll have to see what that driver of the number 76 car will do come time for this restart here soon. Waiting to see if those lights will turn out on that pace car and get this race back up and rolling. There are the lights, so we're going to have Maconi and Curran making up your front row on this restart. It's going to be Tyler Curley slotted in P3, Adam Reese, who's had a rather entertaining race, shall we say, going to line up in 4th, but Logan Wilson, as you pointed out, you and Gubby, it's the top of the cars to already make that call to come down pit lane. Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting early on in this race to see all that developing. Let's see, though, how much of a burden those old tyres are with this new restart on lap 28.
And the second restart of the day, some rather quick runs to get this race up, back and rolling, but here we go. We're back to green with Maconi jumping out to the lead. Curran now going to have to battle with Tyler Curley on the inside. Look at the number 14 of Nicholas Uhrig after having a small little bit of a say in the matter with that yellow that just came out. He's trying to cut some shapes and jump his way up into the top 5 with this wrapping up the front. Gonna go on the 24 and the 2 now, starting to duke it out. Is up in the wall. That's Uhrig with a huge sideways snap, and that's another driver going off.
Oh, it's a big crash down here. Big crash. Joshua Osborne was the first one to go properly around. You can see his green and yellow car from a mile away, and unfortunately he was flying across the grass there, straight into the path of everybody else as he scattered to avoid the rest. I mean, look at it, this is almost back of lap because it's all started from back there, where it's all getting very rowdy back here, just outside the top 5. There's another bump from 28 to 46. 14 hits the wall, and completely separately, Osborne loses it on his own, smash into the pack. 31, 14, 29, all involved at turn 1.
Turn 1 and 2 here at Stafford, turning into a demolition derby. It's exactly how it shook out there, but we will get this race back up and rolling rather quickly. Usually how it ends up rolling in these races is once we get a couple of yellows, especially ones that are rather back-to-back, we'll have some quick yellows, but I don't think we'll be getting restarted this time by as the lights are back out on that iRacing pace car. The iRacing pace car, the sedan that we're running at, I would love to hear from iRacing exactly what model that is if they ever decide to assign one to it, which leads me into an interesting discussion that's popped into my head from time to time, usually at 3 o'clock in the morning when I can't really sleep too well. Wouldn't it be kind of odd if Pepsi one day just went out and said that their brand name was actually pronounced Pepsi?
So no one's going to actually say it, are they? Everyone's still going to say Pepsi. So that's, you know, it's there's no point because nobody will do it.
Yeah, hearing as well from the production truck that there was a car that was stopped out there on the track to try and delay the yellow. So I'm not sure exactly how they will get dealt with. You know, we are up in the New England area, around the Salem area of the country. I wonder if they'll get burnt at the stake for doing something like that. But let's get this race back up and rolling. 33 laps on the board of this 100-lap long race. Maconi and Curley occupying your front rows. They ship it off down to turn number 1. And rolling for the first time tonight, the outside lane, heading down to 1 and 2. Get off to a good one. He hits the wall as there's some drama a little bit farther behind. The yellow back out as bumpers are flying.
Osborne's missing his front bumper again. I don't know if he got another one put on in the last caution, but he'll need to come in for a second time in minutes if he did. That is not ideal at all. I think it's the same group of drivers. Oh dear, it is. Oh, he was already missing his front end, I think. But anyway, Osborne was the one tipped around into a sort of half spin there and went straight into 25, which is now missing its front end as well. Was 46 missing its front end already here or not? I'm trying to see. Yeah, it was already missing. So clearly there's already some damage going on there. And 85 is the one it makes contact with.
I can see the 25 in the midst of all that. There you can see it on the edge of your screen. That bumper just popping off like a misshapen Lego. Seeing some bizarre things with these racers up to this point. As that was a contact that snapped off the front bumper for the 46. And here's Ron Hollifield's perspective in all this. Heading down to the turn, contact being made. The bumper was still on, then it popped off right about there. You could just see it fly over to the left. That's a rather goofy thing. We're all right back to racing, though. Talk about quick yellows. Holy cow. I'll tell you what, my neck's already starting to hurt from the whiplash. That was a big sideways snap for the 24. He hangs on to it. Curley, though, jumping out to a pretty big lead.
Yeah, and Curley was just about in front of Maconi when the caution flew, so he had control there, and he's racing away now. Ricci alongside Maconi at the moment. They're door-to-door into 1. Look at the stack up behind. This has got a recipe for disaster at the moment cooking up, and 76 getting loose. Oh dear, this is all getting very nervy now as this battle for second does not go away. Maconi can't quite get clear.
The battling is cooking up. These racers are cooking. Let's see who's going to set off the smoke detector. Maconi getting that move done to hold on to P2. The 2 car, though, of Adam Ricci right there to pass as well. He's back on the inside of him, heading down to 3 and 4. The dive from the 2. He's trying to find any way in the book to get past that number 86 car, but Maconi gets hung out to dry. He's going to be in for a world of hurt. The battling right behind them. Oh, no! Hang on to it. That was Logan Wilson with the save of a lifetime, heading down to turn number 1.
Oh, it wasn't over there as well. 3 wide, he was stuck in the middle. I think what we're seeing here immediately is that 76, despite having those 2 new tyres, is not seeing much of an advantage. Team Brummett is seeing a bit more of an advantage, but don't forget that 8 car is pretty fast anyway, even when everyone's got an equal slate. New tyres, inside line, Brummett up to 4th place now.
And it should be noted that the top 3 have yet to come down pit lane, so if they start to struggle, that could be part of the reason why that is the case. But looking at the 18, the 28 slapping the wall. A pancake hit as he comes out of turn number 4. I don't think concrete tastes as good as pancakes, so I'll be completely honest. The 18 of Alex Thomas holding on to that final spot inside the top 5. Look at the 2 of Adam Ricci really starting to wiggle around. That 2 car has been rather sketchy to keep eyes on ever since the latest restart that we've had here. But as we get to the halfway mark, oh, as that's drama with the 76, he's spun up against the wall, nosed in first. The yellow does not come out for that as he's back up and rolling. There's the yellow, though, and there's the 28. Yeah,
it was always going to happen, wasn't it? There was too much happening. Sometimes you just get the feeling, don't you, watching these guys, that it's just sort of bubbling up here. The energy's building, and eventually it will explode, and that's what's happening further down the field here. Logan Wilson on the outside line. Oh, and just getting loose into the wall, nearly clipping 24. And then Aaron Harding going for his own spin, rear right, very loose into 1 and 2 there, and that's what brought out the caution.
Looks like Logan Wilson, he had to stomp on the brakes big time. I think his front tires have probably been turned into rectangles as a result of that lockup. But let's take a look at the moment from the 28 car's perspective. Heading down to the turn, already wiggly, whoop, 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 whoop. Nope.
Very loose, wasn't it? Right from turning there, and that's a big problem on the way towards turn 1, without stating the obvious completely. You know, get the feeling watching some of these guys that they could do with 4 new tyres, but we've still got 3 guys out there who haven't stopped.
As we take a look at the sideways snap from Wilson. Got to the back of the two of Reese right in front, and I don't know what it is. Sometimes about these ARCA cars make a little bit of contact. He was still wiggling coming out of the turn. I'm not sure whether his rear tires were coated in Vaseline or what the deal was. That was early on that lap. We're back up and rolling. These quick yellows are the bane of a producer's existence. We're back to racing here at Stafford. That's a 46 coming out of the pits. That may be a bit of a choke point. Heading down into 3 and 4. Tyler Curley still leading over Maconi. Reese now slotted in for the team. Drummond, all those drivers who have already made that call to come down pit lane in that mud car, making up some moves to jump into the podium.
Absolutely, this 8 car is looking very, very fast tonight, that's for sure. And Maconi and Curley are going to have to figure this one out between themselves. I don't know whether Maconi's going to try and battle Curley to be first, because that means he caught by Brummett second. Seems to me that the 8 car is showing better speed than almost anyone. Oh, he does get to the rear quarter there, does Maconi. And here comes the 8 car. Is he going to even make it pretty wide? Not quite. Maconi's only just about alongside, and Curley pulls back in front of him again in time for 3 and 4.
Now this battling still intense up on the front. We rapidly approach the halfway mark of this race. Curley over Maconi, over Brummett, but the battling still going to be intense between these racers. Look at the difference though. Right now Maconi has got 2 different fights on his hand. He wants to jump into the race lead over Tyler Curley. He's also got that car of Dean Brummett. That 8th machine has that tire advantage, and you can see it is not a small tire advantage either. It's not like he came into the pits 2 laps in. He came in 24 laps into this race, and even if he was sideways every single lap since he came out of the pits, that is still going to be a pretty significant advantage. So look at that number 8 car to maybe cut some shapes.
Yeah, I mean, do the maths when we were looking at that there. It's done exactly half the laps that the guys out front had, so it's very much, it's not rocket science to work this one out at the moment, as there's a poor run for Maconi. He tried to get past Curley there into 2, but Brummett was right there to pounce. This is the danger now for Maconi when he's trying to take the lead. There is a car behind, right behind, looking to sweep up that place if indeed he gets it wrong. But Maconi just look quicker than that 15 car right now, getting to the rear quarter every now and again, especially off of 2, but just can't find a way past yet.
Yeah, and that right there was the exact sort of moment that I was thinking was going to have happened to Maconi. He tried to get to the back bumper of the 15, but got a little bit wiggly as he headed his way onto the back straightaway, and Drummond was there to pounce. That's exactly what happened for him. A tough break from Maconi. Still running in P2, but he will not want to have another moment like that go on between now and the checkered flag. That is for certain. Curley still leading over Maconi, over Drummond. These front 3 not really breaking away from anybody, as Alex Thomas in the number 18 machine right there to pounce as well in 4th, and even to look a little bit farther behind, it's still close, as I think, Tyler Curley, he briefly blinked in and out. The UFO's coming out here at Stafford.
And that's not going to help Maconi as well, especially when they're, well, any of them actually, because they're running so close together that always just makes things so much more dangerous as he reappears back onto the racetrack. Hopefully that just levels out a bit as he continues to lead here. This is a good fight for the lead right now between these guys. Maconi trying to find his way past. Brummett has definitely found these 2 as a bit of a stalling point here, as that is Vinny Tickner coming through on Adam Reese there in the 12 car. Tickner also on some newer tyres than Reese, who's the last of those now who hasn't stopped yet.
And seeing as well, I don't think we really drew attention to this. Joshua Osborne in the 46 car picked up a black flag. Fitting that he had the Days of Thunder livery on his car, because he hit everything apart from the pace car, so he's out of this race. Currently slotted 19th. Tyler Curley still holding on to the lead over Maconi, over Brummett. But I think right now the battling between these 4 may get broken up. If we do have a yellow, I'm sure we'll probably make that call to come down pit lane, but even if we have some green flag stopped, that would certainly be a detriment for the other 2 cars. That would be a very tough road ahead if that were to be the case. But now that they've got some lap traffic to mix it up as well, that may be the push needed for at least one person to break the stranglehold that these 4 are currently in.
Yeah, I think so. I think it might just provide that one opportunity, and that's all you need really in any sort of race really, whether it's road racing, over-racing. When you're running single file like this and it's kind of hard to overtake, you just need that one little bit of strange activity, whatever that might end up being, just a little bit of something going a little bit wrong, and you can take advantage of that. And Brummett certainly seems to be the one most willing to try to take advantage of it. It's already got two there, looking on the goal, can't get through again. This would be a frustrating place for that 8 car to be in.
Yeah, that 8 car is really locked between a rock and a hard place right now. You've got that 86 of Maconi, who's going to try and do everything in the book to get past Curly, but those two not really able to cut the shapes that they would want to. They can't really move those cars around too terribly quickly. I think I said not terribly long ago in reference to ARCA cars. You know, I would probably say they're in the bottom 5 in terms of quick steerers on the iRacing platform, which I say that knowing fully well that there have been so many cars to overcorrect themselves, heading off into the turns that just take a one-way head-on turn to the outside. But no, Curly and Maconi on those frankly ancient tires, now 60-lap-old tires on those cars as well. Man, I'm not sure what General Tire makes them. They're either screaming in agony and worn down to the canvas, or they are made out of some sort of space-age technology material.
Making him sort of look better than he is, maybe, out front at the moment. This is, you know, proving in a longer run like this, and this is the longest run of the day, if I'm not mistaken. We're approaching 20 laps now. It's, you know, difficult to overtake when you're so sort of set in your ways almost. Even that bit of traffic we just negotiated there a couple of moments ago couldn't shake this front two especially. So I think these guys are just making it look better than what it is at the moment. Can't see, oh, and here we go. 7 cars in the wall, Braden Murray's in the wall, and the caution's out. I wonder now whether we're going to see a lot of stops now.
Let's see, holy cow, that was a long running incident. Those two took multiple swipes at each other. Trevor really started about a half a lap prior. You can see that number 14 car low. They nearly made contact, they being the 85 and the 7. 24 had a pretty good perspective in all this. Contact being made at the turn, the 85 goes around, then the 7 gets in touch, and that was those two drivers having a saw at the wheel to even keep them remotely on track, and eventually you just lose it. That's the sort of deal that you've got coming out of these turns, but here we go. We've got some pit stops, and as you predicted, Ewan, pretty much everybody making that call to come down pit lane.
Well, we've got some people staying out, though. Kurhan, Smetana and Wilson all stay out on the racetrack after they pitted under the previous caution, by the way. 2 tyres for Tyler Curley, Alex Thomas and Adam Reese, who's only been in once tonight, by the way, but he's taken only 2 anyway, so his left sides have done the whole race, and they probably will do the whole race. From then on back, it's 4 tyres. Brummett got ahead of Maconi, and who was leading a moment ago? We've seen him completely disappear. Oh, sorry, yeah, Curley is one of those taking 2 tyres, so he's also in that camp of left sides doing the whole race.
And you know what I said earlier on about those tires being made out of tungsten? Left side tires for the entirety of this race, I think, kind of proves that theory in a certain way. That is going to be a marathon run through this race to try and do that. 35 laps left to go here tonight, Maconi Entertainment, and as we are under this yellow flag period, looking to get this race restarted in just a couple of moments time, we'll let you know that as we get to the end of season 3 here, season 3 of 2025 on the iRacing platform, still have a lot of stuff to look forward to day in and day out, week in and week out. Coming up later on this evening, we'll be able to see the action from the full-length challenge Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. They're going to be running out Portland, the second to last race of the regular season. Some playoff spots still on the line there. FLCC going to be running at Darlington, door-to-door at Darlington as well. The Formula 1600 is going to be running at Aldershaven, and Racers Elite going to be running at Stafford as well. If you want to stay tuned for all the action, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. But here we go, back up to green flag racing, and that's a big jump there, a slingshot launch from the 24 of Curran.
That's a very good start, and if this battle for second, oh, it's not going to continue. The caution comes straight out. They all crash into turn 1, and Jeff Maconi has got the worst damage of the lot.
Oh, and you could see that front right completely snapped off of that car. Let's take a look at this as we're focused on the drama at the front. Maconi really going to get the short end of the stick. Thankful to say we've got some faster parents, but the boss man not going to be very happy about this at all. A bad restart there from the 15 really stacked them up with 3-wide action, the 82, and that was a big hit there. And look at the 48. That was Jeremy Briggs piling into the midst of all that as well. Nothing that he could have done, and Maconi really nothing that he could have done that incident either.
Yeah, and you talked about the different types of barrier that we've got around the outside of this circuit. It's certainly not a modern, safer barrier circuit, is it? Some of these ARCA barriers and concrete walls are sort of exposed to a crash like that, and it's actually done more damage to Maconi than it otherwise would have. Quick caution though, and we'll be back underway.
Very quick yellow and about to get this race restarted. They're bumping big time through the restart zone. Curran not getting off to a great restart though, at least compared to the previous ones. Matana looking to fight back on the inside as well. Holy cow, look at these racers as they fan out. Oh, holy cow. That was the 76 of Logan Wilson. The 15 going for the dive as the 76 goes for the spin. He collects more cars involved in all of that action as well. That's a 12 of Vinny Tigner around. I mean, as soon as I saw that moment heading down into turn number 1 and 2, I knew that's how it was going to end.
This is short track racing, isn't it? Curly was getting impatient here with 76. You can see it immediately. Needs to go now. Goes for the apron and actually doesn't actually make any contact in the end. The hammer blow was dealt by those rear tyres on that 76.
That was basically a Bluetooth spin there with the 76 with a 15 on the inside of him. I mean, I would be scared too if I saw an ARCA car. It may not be as big as an extra car, but it's not a light machine either. If I saw a car coming down the inside of me like an Exocet missile, that was a dive and a half from Curly. If that ended in absolute disaster, even more so for him, he probably would have felt like Curly from the Three Stooges. But no, that was a masterful maneuver heading down into turn number 3 and 4. We did have a couple of pit stops, including one for Vinny Tigner and Wilson, the both of them, with some pretty major damage in the midst of all that as well. Again, we do have fast pairs allotted to these racers, so it's not completely the end of your night, but certainly not going to help your case out either. And I'll tell you what, the tow truck drivers certainly getting a good pay here tonight. Curly with a massive jump there, and that's going to be a penalty. As soon as I saw that car, gun it immediately. There's only one way that can end. It ends in a flag of a black variety.
Well, that's going to change this race because Kearney was looking very good for a race win tonight. I've got to say, that pace in 15 looked very, very good, but he's going to be out of it now, having to serve that on the green unless some miracle happens. Look at this, protecting the inside, diving down the inside. Brummett there looking to have a go on Thomas. Brummett, by the way, took 4 tyres under that most recent caution, after the long stint, and Thomas only took 2. That's the difference between those two at the front. Kerhan has been on those tyres for a lot longer.
Michael Curran at this point in time, he's trying to find any way in the book to pull out a race lead for 2 reasons. 1, comfort sakes, and 2, I think he just wants to say, you know what, with all this drama going on, I want to get the hell out of here, and that's going to help him out. With Dean Drummond looking to get the move done down the inside of Alex Thomas as they head their way off through 3 and 4 side by side across the line. Thomas trying to do everything in his power to hold on to 8 though. Oh, into the wall. He's going to go sideways through the turn, and that is probably going to bring a yellow out. Yes, it will be Drummond. You're at 1-point race leader, now going to have to take a tow. That was a huge hit for him.
Oh, he's got the best car tonight, I would say, Dean Brummett, and he was looking for second. He had the move done, basically, but brakes too late, loose on the way in. How many times have we seen that tonight? 2 loose on the way into 1. You slide through the first part, you overcorrect and hit the Armco barrier hard. Brummett is going to be down the back of the field.
Yeah, the apron around this track and the low banks as well, not helping these racers out at all. I said a little bit earlier on how I wouldn't be shocked if the rear tires were like coated in vegetable oil or something of the sort. I feel like that entire first 2 turns, it's basically a giant slip and slide. We've seen so many racers lose it heading off in there. Similar moments into 3 and 4, but 1 and 2 has really been the trouble spots.
Yeah, it has, and you know, these corners are different. You know, it's not one of those circuits where it's all the same all the way around. The turns are different in the way of the banking, and the lesser degrees are at turn 1 and 2. Not sure whether that is a coincidence or whether that's causation, but yeah, there's definitely more spinning going on at turn 1. A lot of the action been down there tonight.
Yeah, a lot of the action down there. We still have a lot of action to look forward to in the final 21 laps to distance of this race. Michael Curran and Alex Thomas lead us back to green. We're back up and rolling and ready to rock for the final 20 laps of this race. And Curran holds on to the race lead. Thomas slotted in P2, looking hard, and Reese battling hard for the final podium spot. All of these racers trying to duke it out, gain as many spots as they can, getting into crunch time in this race. And you can tell we're in crunch time based off the incident right in the back.
Oh dear, that is, oh wow, 76 involved again. And 59 as well, Matthew Tennant, who's been a lap down at one stage tonight, by the way. He's on the lead lap again now, but he's in this latest caution. Unfortunately, we got through a lap, but in the end, it's Kearney trying to stick his nose through 3 wide there, and there wasn't really space.
Oh, and you can see that 70. Huge hits as we headed our way down into turn number 1 and 2. The 76 sending the 85 up into the wall. I'll tell you what, some of these racers, they have not had a single break at all ever since it dropped the green flag. So let's take a look at the perspective and all this. The smoke already up in the air. Not a lot that he can do, and certainly not a lot that he could have done as a 76 went up the track. I figured he hit that outside safer barrier head on. I'll tell you what, I did call my shot right before the start of this broadcast. I said that I would rule out somebody ballparking it. We haven't seen it yet. Emphasis on yet. I would not rule it out based off of the drama we've seen up to this point in this race. Lights out on the pace car, but we do have that right there was the
Tony Stewart.
Yeah, it was. I think that was Hollyfield in 20. I think we had this drama a couple of weeks ago. Is that the 26 or the 25? It looks kind of like both. But the P15 runner trying to lap himself, I think, but he's picked up a black flag and all that. I don't think that was necessarily a lap. Michael Curran leading us back to green, though. Less than 20 to go here at Stafford, and these racers are trying to settle into some sort of groove. And I think our vocal cords are going to be appreciating a great too.
Oh, this is when you know. Oh, yeah, and here we go into 3 already. You can see the moves. Curly is so aggressive on the apron there. It's a way of making moves here, but your run-off of 4 is just so poor when you're down there. It's very difficult. Into 1 again. Maconi back up here again, by the way. Hadn't really talked about him since his crash, but he's back in the top 5 again here as they all get racy for the finish here. 15 to go at the line.
15 laps left of racing action, only 7.5 miles, and they're nearly 3 wide as they head their way out of turn number 4. Look at the 2 and the 86. That's Maconi and Reese. Smetana in the number 29 car looking to try and get a move done on any of these racers. He's now on the inside the 2 of Adam Reese as they head their way into 3 and 4. Look at the 29 car getting that move done. The 12 now deciding to fight back in tow. Reese and Tickner, this isn't the first time that we've seen these racers go side by side, but it is the first time in quite a while. They got broken up in the early stages, and ever since then, they have not found each other on the racetrack, but they're back linked up. That 2 dropping down like an anvil, pushed out the helicopter, is now looking at Tyler Curley, looking to fight back after coming back after serving that black flag. Tyler Curley is still inside the top 10. How in the world did he do that?
Well, it's just big aggression, really, from that 15 car. It has on occasion. We saw it earlier when he was on a restart. But Maconi turned. Maconi turned there. It might have been Petter Smetana who actually did the turning. We'll see in a replay in a sec. But Maconi had worked his way back to the top 5, and he spun round. He's got to do it all again.
See how this drama worked out for Maconi and Smetana as they had their way down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Yes, Smetana locking up one of those front tires as he dove it off into 3 and 4. Maconi going to get spun around. I don't think he's going to be very happy at all in all of that. Maconi, the race was going very well for him. Then he got involved in one incident. Now he got involved in the second one. Smetana, I'll tell you what, of all the cars that hit out there on the racetrack, I think he picked the exact wrong one.
Yeah, absolutely, he did. You know, a complete mistake. You can see the way that his inputs there. He was just trying to go down the inside, and he just misjudged that. You can see the instant regret almost in his steering inputs, which is you know, a shame. But not as much of a shame as it is for Maconi. He's down to the 5th row of the grid now for this latest restart with 10 to go.
I'll tell you what, I've lost track of what restart we're on right now. We'll say it's restart number 11 with 11 coming to 10 to go. Look at them bumping big time. Trying to bumper cars as they had their way off through turn number 4, trying to get the green flag back out in the air. But we're back to racing here at Stafford. That's a 24 of Curran. He just needs to get some good restarts and try and hold on to the lead as much as he can. Having that inside line on these restarts has been the kickoff threat tonight. As long as he can just fight off the challenges from the 18.
Oh,
he can do it. Contact being made, though. That's a 59 of Temnant.
Yeah, he's, as I mentioned, had some trials and tribulations this afternoon as Matthew Tennant, and this is just the latest of those. This is down towards the back end of the field, really fighting for scraps back here. Maconi actually back here as well. 3 wide mode. Oh, 4 wide. Crikey. But, yeah, there you go. Maconi gets revenge, although not on the same driver. That's Tennant who gets spun around.
See, I was going to make a joke about you saying crikey there, Ewan, but then I realized that I'm out number 2-1 in terms of Brits here in the broadcast booth, so I'm going to swiftly and abruptly move on from that. Here's a replay of the roundup bumper cars as we headed our way through the restart zone. This was just, yeah, the 24 trying to stack up a little bit, 8, 15, Tyler Curley. I'm not sure we headed our the 24 trying to stack up a little bit. 15. I'm not sure what sort of gasoline he poured off in his Fruit Loops this morning, but he has been amped up for this race.